The first time I ever held his hand was under the shelter of an overpass along the 105 highway. We lay burnt up like summer sand in our Garden of Eden, and I watched the way his eyes danced when he lit up like an atom bomb. "We could be gone," I said. "Even though I just met you, I know I can't do wrong with you around. Let's leave this town. I want to see what the stars in Madrid look like with you. I want to see just how far our fingers can creep from the places where we once sleep and reach for a better tomorrow. Let me borrow you for just one lifetime." The first date I ever took him on was during a torrential downpour. I asked him if he ever kissed anyone in the rain before, and I thought I was so smooth. As my lips connected with the grooves of his mouth, collecting droplets from the sky, maybe from their heaven, it didn't look like very much. But from a boy who grew up alone in a bathtub, it was enough to make me cry. If he had asked me, at 15, how I thought I was going to die, I would have said with my wrist slit clean before 25. But that was before I found him. I had never felt close to holy before that time. I know every word from that text message where he agreed to be my boyfriend. I'd reread it every time I felt alone. And before that night was over, I had memorized every line. The first time me and him ever got high, I fell head first into the pavement. I woke up to the sight of his face as he frantically looked for where I might have misplaced my brain cells, and when he found them, I could only think, why didn't you just leave me on the street? But together, we crawled away from the concrete and laid in the shelter of dry grass. Every moment from that day past, I would call him my guardian angel. No one ever cared enough to kiss my cuts and scrapes. No one ever thought to pull me out of danger's way as it hurled towards me in an aquamarine minivan. No one ever held me until I was no longer black and blue. The first time I told him, "I love you," we were naked on a couch in his empty, dark living room, and we proved to ourselves that with enough love in your heart, you can ignite a 2-bedroom apartment like the 4th of July. We left that night in each other's jackets, with fireworks in our brains as small as fireflies. I loved the way he filled out my clothes better than I did. When they just hung off my shoulders, the way my overactive smile hangs from the corners of my cheeks every time he was around me. Every time he was around me, I remembered little love songs I heard on my boombox as a kid. Every time he was around me, I found parts of myself I thought I long ago hid. Every time he was around me, I knew that love doesn't always have to die. The first time I ever saw him cry was in the back of a silver car with a girl that was too stoned to drive, so we stayed in that empty parking lot at midnight. And I held him as close as I could while I sang, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray." And with his gray scarf tapped with tears, I cleared a path for only our ears and whispered, "I'm always gonna be here." The first apartment we got together was 20 minutes away from home. We'd wake up to each other's morning breaths and forget why we once hated Mondays. A shower just big enough for 2 bodies, late nights dripping wet, with a bottle of wine in his hand and old Dylan songs in my head, and we'd fly high like paper lanterns over the land, offering what little glow we could give to the houses down below where the other people lived, stuck in their unhappy realities. Our reality was painted with moon rays and midnight swims, ballet dances, and sun-kissed skin. I would wrap my little arms around his Adonis chest. We found nirvana, I'd say, in the one thing we know best, each other. The first time I got down on one knee, I was praying, let me be the thing to make him happy. In my mind, I was shuffling the words to my poem like a deck of cards, trying to match every rhythm with every rhyme, as I gripped his ring in my hand so tight that my palms turned white. And when he slipped that ring on his finger, that love doubled until it shone so bright that it drove out the night, and we lived forever in sunlight. The first day, our daughter had kindergarten. He walked her to the bus stop while I waved from the window. And together, somehow, we learned to let go of that little girl that somehow snuck into our world. For the next 6 hours, we sat under the orange tree in front of our big blue house. He'd look at me and say, "This is the life we always wanted." And the best I could do was just to hope, just to pray to whatever God that paved my way, to stay in the folds of marigolds and packed school lunches. But the clock often cheats, and days turn into weeks, turn into years, turn into birthday parties and graduation and gray hair, no matter how much we deny it's true. The last time I ever told him I love you was in a hospital bed at 85. The last time I ever kissed him goodbye was when he stayed by my side as my monitor flatlined, and he sang to me, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. So please don't take my sunshine away."